What's good, Guggen, and everyone else? I hope you guys are doing great. So today pre-market, you guys probably saw the title. I'll talk about GME gamma exposure. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about this. Something might be coming up, so I'll talk about the gamma exposure and GME. But before we do that, we'll go over SPX quickly, right? Go over the SPX gamma levels, right? One thing here that we want to note, if I take these off, we already know that last time this consolidation happened we came down, but that does not mean the same thing will happen again. We don't know which way we're going to go here, but there's no doubt that between 4080 and below 4200 we're stuck in a tight range. So which way do we go? So it's better to be patient and see which way we go here, right? Because even here it was looking bullish, then came back down, and this is some tough resistance, all right, above 4100 hold. Now some things that you guys want to note, that the call wall is not moving higher yet. It's only at 4200. So maybe if we get higher prices above let's say 4150 or so, 4180, 4190, maybe tomorrow we'll have a higher call wall. But for now, 4200 is stuck there for the last few days, and we need this to move higher, which shows demand for call buying. All right, but right now calls and puts are both quiet on SPX, and then obviously we have the volatility trigger, which is moving higher as well. It's come to 4090, right? So if you guys remember, last week it started from 39.70, then 40.10, I believe, 40.30, and now we're at 40.90 on the volatility trigger. What does that mean? The closer it gets to a current price, bulls will have to work harder on holding these levels, because remember, dealers hedging activity, they adjust near volatility triggers, because if we come under 40.90 and we hold underneath it, negative gamma will start to build up. All right, there will be more negative positioning that will come into the market. Okay, so which means that the market goes lower, that will help push market more lower, and then more volatility comes in. All right, when the IV increases, when there's more put demand, and if we get the rise in VIX, there's more volatility. Remember that. Okay, so we need to for bulls we need to hold above, I would say, 4150. Right now we're trading on 4170ish pre-market, but so let's see if call wall can roll higher, or a smart investor between 4050 and 4200. Be patient, let the market give us a direction which way it wants to go. All right, let it give us a direction which way it wants to go, and then we go from there. Okay, but for now we're just in a tight range, and let's see which way it plays out. All right, and last week chart, if we go on the weekly chart on SPX, so this was last week's candle. This is this week, obviously. So let's see what happens. Right, and this is SPX USD. I'll go over SPY. It'll be a little different. Right here's the last week's candle. All right, so not bad. We're just here above the range. Let's see this week what it gives us. Okay, weekly candles help a lot. We had a nice little rally all the way from 363 to 416. This is a very nice rally. Some consolidation, small pullback will be good for the market, and then we see what happens. All right, and let's go over GME. I'll talk about GME today, right? I'll spend some time here. Again, a weekly chart, right? Let's go over the daily. Weekly looks pretty good. Let's look at the daily and what's possible here, right? Now T called out some calls on this, which should be up huge at the open again today. And this 40 is a huge number on GME, right? 40 is a huge number, obviously, as you can see here. It acts as support and resistance. But let's look at some strikes here on gamma exposure. First I have here is 98 days to expiry. All right, 98 days to expiry. This color coding is a legend here, you guys can see. Basically what this means is, guys, now this is 3 months. All right, there's color coding with the strikes it gives us, and then always at the bottom we have the notional value. The bigger the notional value on the gamma strikes, right? The call interest, when the price gets above that price, the bigger the move. All right, because there's more buying that goes on if you do the math. So here we can see that 40 will, initially last week was holding on to 40, but now above 40, basically what's going to happen here is the deltas will rise on this increase, and when the deltas rise, all right, the market maker, or the hedger, he will have to buy additional shares. Now he will have to buy additional shares to neutralize his position against the calls that is sold to you, right? There's a whole insight into this. You guys can read up to it, but I'll just give you guys some brief notes. And as GME goes higher, we have other strikes. We have other strikes here that you guys can see. 41.25 is not bad, 42.50, 43, and then all the way towards 45. And then so there's a good chance that from here it can shift towards 45 in the coming months, weeks, or maybe this week alone. All right, and then we see what happens at the 45 strike. Now let me just go over this chart right here. This is for August 19th for near dated for MOPEX, and we can see again we're near 40 bucks. So above this, if GME ends up holding above these strikes, all right, especially above 40, and it goes higher, and if the more gamma builds up here, if these values get bigger at the bottom, you guys can see more calls coming in, there could be a short squeeze in GME. All right, there could be a possible short squeeze if the market continues higher here. Why? Because more GME, we already know what kind of stock this is, right? When the buying starts coming in from retail, and then all these people, they're all going to jump into it, right? Maybe that there's another squeeze that comes in. All right, that's something that's possible, right? And I believe there's also a good amount of short interest in this name, right? So keep an eye on GME above 40 hold. 40 hold is must, and the higher it goes towards 41, 42, these call buying will come in, and I think they're going to end up buying more calls on the 45, 50 strike, and so on. All right, we even have this 50 strike here for August 19th, right? So if we can move above these levels, there could be some buying that can go on GME. So keep an eye on it. It's been quiet for some days and looks like it's knocking the doors at the 40, and right now pre-market is set for 41.50. So the longer we hold above these levels and the closer we go above, and the more we get towards the expiry, right, the deltas will rise faster, which resumes more buying from the market makers. And let's see, right, this is a new tool. I've been trying it out for the last few months. I'm pretty good with gamma levels. I'm still understanding more. If you're someone who's way more advanced than me in this, leave it in the comments. I'm open to feedback, right? I'm not perfect, but as much as I understand, this is one name that I would want to keep an eye on, GME. And again, if you guys want to understand more, just study gamma exposure, right, and where it is and what exactly it does and how it works. It'll make more sense. All right, God bless. See you guys back in the chat.